Hey everyone, so I want to start the conversation today by celebrating me. I made it 365 days, that's 12 months and 1 year into my sobriety. Now, for those of you that don't know my story, just over 2 years ago, I was homeless, living in a storage unit, putting needles in my arm, smoking through a glass pipe. I was a methamphetamine addict to the highest level. And since that time, and as you see, I said just over 2 years, and yet I'm only a year sober. That's because things didn't change right then. I had the opportunity to struggle a little more. And now when I say I had the opportunity to struggle, because I truly believe that God has done more in our struggles than he ever has in our successes. And so I really take failure as an opportunity. And now let me tell you straight up, I fell off of more wagons than I thought there were wagons. I fell back into drug abuse so much. And for those of you that truly don't know the depth that I've had to deal with addiction, I've been using chemical-based drugs since I was 15 years old. I started using methamphetamine when I was 15. And I upgraded from crack, cocaine, heroin use. I've done it all. And that's not something I'm particularly proud of in the past. I'm proud to say of it now because now I can give people this amazing education, this amazing knowledge from what I've experienced. So I'm very blessed to have had these experiences and being able to help people further their lives. Now, for a lot of you that want to question the level of my sobriety, because I have had that. First off, if you've never had to battle addiction, you don't really have a dog in this fight. You don't get the opportunity to put yourself out there and say, oh, well, you do this and you do that. Are you really sober? Coming from where I came from to where I am today, from homeless, methamphetamine, drug addicted, using every chemical-based drug there was, to what I utilize now, and I do truly believe in the health and medical use of marijuana and psychedelic healing. So yes, I do still dabble in those realms as I get myself better each and every day. So for those of you that want to question it, yes, I do smoke marijuana. Yes, I have used psychedelics in order to heal myself from where I've been. Yes, I have the odd social drink with friends and loved ones. So putting that out there, I take my sobriety as where I've come from to where I am today and the importance of that I'm sober from the use of chemical addicted drugs, which almost killed me. Actually, if I'm really going to be completely honest, and let's be really transparent on this conversation, I have overdosed more than times than I can count, 30 times easily, and I have flatlined twice on the operating table during a drug overdose. So for me, I've really taken it all the way to the limit. So when people want to sit there and question, the level of my sobriety, that's it right there, guys. I'll be completely transparent with you. I'm not a homeless junkie anymore. That is pride to me. That is amazing to me. So for those of you that really want to stick your neck out there, go through the path that an addict has had to go through. Because what we don't realize when it comes to addiction is it's something that we shame, and it's something that we don't celebrate. If someone was obese and had an eating disorder, an eating addiction, if you will, and they become skinny, fit. I don't want to use the word skinny, but fit. Then we utilize that and we put that out there and we celebrate it, progress pictures and whatnot. And if somebody, let's say, dropped out of school, went back and got their degree, what would we do? We would celebrate that. So why is it that we spend so much time not celebrating addiction in itself and getting over the recovery of? Because it's so important. For a lot of you that don't understand, we've all had to deal with struggles. But the one difference that I find when it comes to addiction is that it's one thing to deal with all these problems around you, dealing with the problems of the economy, dealing with the coronavirus, dealing with people that do things to you or events that happen to you that hurt you, and you have to battle those. You have to get over those failures and those missteps, and you have to overcome. Here's the thing. It's one thing to battle the devil outside of you. It's a different thing when the devil is inside of you, when he's whispering in your ear, and that devil is you, telling you it's okay to take that hit, telling you you're 3 months sober, you deserve a break. Guys, overcoming that devil inside of you takes so much power. We don't give it to addicts. We are the most powerful people on the planet because we overcome ourselves and our own problems and our own addictions and the stuff that we do to ourselves. Yes, we had a choice to do drugs, but addiction was never a choice. It was never the overall outcome of what we desired to do. Much like a person who becomes obese and, eats that cake, they know they're doing itself to them, but they're already far past that. So when we're talking about being far past things, A big problem that I've had with, and I've dealt with a lot of life coaches right now, and a lot of spiritual people when they're dealing with addicts, is they're trying to find this core issue. What was the catalyst? And there's always a catalyst. Don't get me wrong. There is always a catalyst to the reason that we start using in the first place. But here's the thing. That catalyst, whether it was mental illness, whether it was trauma or whatnot, it's now secondary to the addiction. The addiction has now become more a part of them than the original catalyst, than the original trauma, right? So when you're dealing with someone in addiction, and these life coaches and spiritual people and that I've been working with, and I'm so blessed that they've been so open to understanding this concept, is that you have to deal with that addiction and then heal the individual from that trauma and that catalyst. But the addiction overrides everything inside of them, so they don't even recognize sometimes that there's trauma there. Many of us used to dull the trauma, to dull what we were dealing with on a regular basis. So putting that out there, I've been really blessed to have worked with some amazing individuals that are willing to listen to that and understand that it's the addiction first. It's nothing more, the mental illness, and that it's all on the back burner. So please, when you're dealing with somebody in your space, with your spiritual healer or a life coach, a coach of any sort, please understand, guys, that focus on the addiction first. That's the biggest thing. And celebrating the overcoming and the recovery, whether it's the 3, the 6, month, the 1 year, you have to make sure you celebrate that. One of the things that always knocked me down is I never celebrated my goals. So I would make it 30 days and not celebrate that and just keep tucked under and just be like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to know. Because a lot of people in my life actually never knew that I was as high as I was, as often as I was. I was a very, very, very high functioning addict, even though I was literally dying on the inside. So those celebrations are so important that we need to stop shaming addicts that are overcoming something. Because again, coming back to the obesity or going back to school or whatever, we celebrate that. We should celebrate this, and we should do it at even a higher order. Because again, guys, they're dealing and they're battling with the devil inside of them. They don't need people shaming them outside. That's going to revert them back. So great example actually is a family that I worked with not too long ago, and I was actually speaking to a former addict's aunt. And now he had actually been even further on his journey than I was, which was super amazing, super impressive. But what she said to me, she said, I see him going down the path again. I see him going to that point where he looks like he might go back to that. And I was like, okay, well, explain the situation to me. So she says, well, we had sent him away for rehab, and we had sent him to Italy. I thought, well, that's pretty good. I could have never afforded or ever got to send to Italy for rehab or what I had to go through. But I was amazed that they were willing to go to that level. And I said, okay, and what did you tell everyone, when he was missing? They said, oh, we told them that we were going to send him to school. And when he came back, that's what he told people. I said, so you're forcing him into shame because of what he's actually accomplished. And then you're asking him to do the same things that he was doing to you when you first went to him about being an addict and that he had a problem. He was lying to you, right? And she said, well, yeah, of course. And I said, right. And now you're forcing him to do that to the world. So not only can he not be proud of what he's done, but you're also putting him under a level of shame and forcing him to lie. You're actually making it okay for him to go back to those habits again. You're telling him it's all right to lie about what he's doing. You're telling him he's ashamed and that no one's going to understand what he's been through or the fact that he's overcome this. And I mean, by the time I was done with this conversation, this woman had tears in her eyes because she finally realized that when it comes to addiction, we need to be celebrating that. We need to be putting it out there. It is not something to be shameful about. These individuals, and myself included, overcame one of the most difficult tasks we've ever had to go through. Everything else after this is easy because now I'm battling the rest of the world and the problems that are happening there and trying to do better, but I'm not battling myself. I'm not arguing with the demon and the devil that is me. One of my mentors used to say, new level, new devil. There's nothing like battling the devil inside of you. And addicts of all shapes and sizes. I'm not just talking about drugs. There's so many different types of addiction. There's gambling. There's food. There's so many. An addict is an addict. And whether or not it's a physical or mental addiction, it is still there. It still needs to be, there needs to be compassion there. And there needs to be celebration when these individuals can overcome what they have to overcome. So guys, I really wanted to have this conversation with you because it's been a lot of stuff that's just been in my mind that I just wanted to put out there to all of you to understand that overcoming addiction, that's a triumph of the largest caliber. No one would have ever believed a homeless junkie who was 120 pounds, sketching out all the time, itching his skin off. My skin was gray even. No one would have ever believed that I could be changing lives and shifting the way that this world is seeing both addicts and in so many other levels. We're empowered by our ability to overcome ourselves. Guys, I am 1 year sober as of yesterday. I was so looking forward to actually going to a meeting tonight and getting my 1 year chip. Unfortunately, with Corona, that's not happening, so I'm going to hold that off until Corona is done with, and I can go back to an NA meeting and I can get my 1 year chip, because that is so important to me. Every aspect of this has been important. Last night, my friends were so amazing. My roommates in particular. Unfortunately, no friends coming over, but I had a lot of great phone calls, a lot of messages and whatnot. But my roommates created great dinner for me, made sure I felt loved and appreciated. And then this Friday, we're going to be doing even more love and appreciation. And this is the caliber they understand how much I've had to overcome, because they've been there to watch it and they've been a witness to it. And they've seen me almost die. And they see how important it is for me to celebrate this, to be honored by this, to feel like I've triumphed, because I have. So guys, when you're dealing with people who are dealing with addictions, I just want you to have compassion. I just want you to understand that these people, my people, have overcome themselves. I know this has been a long message, guys. I really hope each of you have made it till the end this far. And I just wanted to say I love you and I appreciate you. And thank you so much for listening and watching and paying attention.